Hello, dental world. Welcome back to Dent Micro Podcast, focusing on dentistry. Mike McCarthy and Matthew Petchel here.
Hello.
We're coming to you from multiple cities across the U.S. right now. But I sure am glad to welcome our special guest of the evening, who I will let talk about himself. But a friend, a colleague, a mentor. I call him a friend-tor. Just an invaluable resource in my life. Dr. Scott Kalniz. Scott, welcome to Dent.
Welcome, Scott.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Matthew. I'm excited to be here. So, brief background on me. I am actually a dentist, undergrad and dental school at The Ohio State University. Slightly unique, yes. Slightly unique is my undergrad was actually through the business school. Decided to go to dental school my sophomore year. My dad was a dentist, so I was born into this. Graduated, moved back to Toledo, Ohio, joined him in practice. We got to work together for 7 years. And then he retired, and I always knew I wanted to do something more than just use these two hands. With two hands, you can only see so many patients. How about 4, 8, 1,000 hands? And so slowly but surely, grew his practice from a single location to a 6-location GP-focused but multi-specialty practice. Got a knock on the door in 2012 from a larger group that had already gone out and gotten private equity funding. Ended up selling to them. Stuck around there for a couple of years, helped them double in size. And then in 2014, had the opportunity to start a DSO with a lower middle market private equity firm. We founded Elite Dental Partners based in Chicago. And over the next 4.5 years, grew it from really 0 to over 110 locations in 12 states. Fun fact, I actually have my dental license in 12 states.
Wow.
And successfully exited that midway through 2018. Stuck around there for about 18 months. And then fall of 2019, my wife and 3 kids were back in Toledo. My wife's actually a veterinarian. And I got tired of doing the schlep back and forth every Monday, coming home later in the week. And so transitioned more to a full-time, well, not a full-time, transitioned to a board role. I often say it's better to be lucky than good, because if you remember what happened in early 2020, I didn't have to deal with any of that.
All right.
So, right place, right time, and again, just got super lucky.
Yeah.
But really what I've been doing the last few years, many different hats. So my new full-time gig is I am the Chief Dental Officer for Beam Benefits, which is an employee benefits company. And so they sell everything but everything but health insurance. Started with dental. These are the guys that actually, 3 engineers, one of the early connected toothbrushes, connected to your phone. They could track, how you were doing and basically base your premiums. Thought is, hey, if you're brushing your teeth, you have less needs. You have less needs, we can charge you less. So they really grew that over the last 8-9 years. Venture capital backed, InsurTech, raised a ton of money. And then I'm still on several boards of DSOs. And I've been doing work with consulting for some large multinational companies that are looking to get into the DSO space, that really believe in the medical dental integration, which maybe we can touch on later. I'm also consulting with some hardware companies, some software companies, looking at product market fit. And I'm just kind of in that really cool, unique situation where, I'm in the center. I've got, the DSO side, I've got the insurance side, I've got the product side, and I kind of get to pick and choose and put together and see how things fit. So been really, really cool and fun.
That's very cool. And I just realized that it's kind of annoying that a dentist can be a dentist and then come over to the industry side, but we can't do the reverse of that.
Could always go back to school.
That's cool. I got YouTube. I mean, this is where you can learn to do just about anything, And,
yes.
So my first question is, do people in Toledo
Hold on,
say,
wait, Matthew,
Toledo?
Sorry. 10 minutes, guys. We promised the audience, the dental audience.
We're only halfway through it. What are you all worked up about? My God.
We've got 10 minutes of response time for Scott coming up.
Okay. All right. So
you going to start the timer, Matthew, or should I?
It's already no, it's started. We're in.
Right.
We're rolling. So I think your background is the DSO sort of space. So can you give us a little snapshot of what you were early in it, right? And sort of started small and went medium and big. And so you've been on that side of it. And where is it now? What's your just quick take on it?
Look, the DSO industry is here to stay. As much as some single practitioners want it to go away, we're here. Right. And we have to be here. You look at every other industry, it always ends up in consolidation. You can't have a $100+ billion industry that is not somehow consolidated. Currently, depending on how you measure it, we're at about 20 to 30% consolidated. Every other industry is not even considered consolidated until you hit 60. Heartland, biggest DSO in the country, right? Maybe they have a 2% market share, but probably more to like 1.5%. Right. Nobody owns the space yet. I really feel like over the next 10 years, we're going to see the pharmatization of dental. Now, what I mean by that is, look, you've got a few big players, right? Rite Aid, CVS, Walgreens, that control the vast majority. You're always going to have room for regional players and still individual doctors. So, but the vast majority of dental care will probably end up being done by those that are with DSOs. You can't stop it. We've got the demographics. We've got the debt load for these kids coming out of school. And just the thought process is, hey, I want to go into a ready-made office and just start making money day one. I can pay back my loans. I can maybe buy a jalopy to drive to work and back. And one day I will, I'll have a little bit of money and maybe I can retire. So, cool. That's where we're going. And like room for everybody.
Right. Do you think it's more the industry will it fragment on care and specialty as far as like obviously more women are getting into dentistry, right? It's not long till it's going to be female sort of dominated. Where are we headed with part-time and, things like that are affecting sort of who wants to get into it and how long they want to stay and what they want to do and what their goals are?
Fantastic question. I'll use my wife as an example. She's a veterinarian. In 1999, when she graduated, her class was 2/3 women. Now classes are like 90+% women. 2/3 of practicing vets are women. And the average vet is practicing 2-3 days a week, part-time. I was on the board of a DSO in Australia. We had 130 locations. We had over 900 practitioners. Average doctor worked 21.5 hours a week. Now over there, they do dentistry, then they go surf. Here you're not doing that. But again, that's why dentistry is such a great profession. There's, definitive start and end time. You do a crown, it's done. You do this, it's different than being a physician. Right. And so it lends itself so well to the part-time practitioner. Before DSOs were like, I want full-time doctors, full-time hygienists, or I don't want them at all. Well, you have to change. Times have changed. We need to be flexible with whom we're employing and give them what they want and need.
Right.
I love it. All right, I'm up. Scott, I don't mean to embarrass you. I know you're a relatively humble human being, but you and I met at an investor conference where we were both pegged to invest in a technology coming up. And it didn't work out, and you and I kind of walked out and became friends out of this, which was a great day of my life. But I used you as a motivation source for me. Where do you find your motivation? What is your motivation, and how do you apply it to your everyday life?
So for some reason, I just hate inefficiency. Like my entire life, I've hated inefficiency. And so when I see something, I want to fix it. Again, stupid example. I started working in my dad's office when I was like in 4th grade, and I knew the alphabet because I could file. Well, his employees, and he had like movable filing cabinets. It would take them half a day to file. I'm like, why don't we alphabetize them and then we don't have to move anything? Anyway, it took me like 30 minutes. But as I look at dentistry, I just see how inefficient it is. I see half the population does not go. And we know if your mouth is messed up, the rest of your body is as well. So how can we make dentistry better, faster, cheaper. Okay. We have to start looking at our customers, our patients. They're the consumer. We don't work business hours anymore. That's why DSOs have been successful. They can be open 6-7 days a week instead of my dad who was open 4 days a week. So what keeps me motivated, there's still so much care to provide. And the fact that medical dental is starting to integrate, which creates even more excitement. And just there's just so much that we can do. And the technology now is going to be able to allow us to do that in a better, faster way.
And I think that's a really good point is that it's not like one thing has to change. It's not just like the practices can stay the same, but they have to stay open a little later, or, technology needs to get better, or consumers need to sort of be open to, different options, or whatever it is. It's like everything. We're in this interesting, people say it all the time, but I think we're in this really interesting phase of dentistry where it truly is happening very quickly.
Agreed.
And the fact that, your statistic always blows my mind that half, the population doesn't visit the dentist on a regular basis. Yet everyone knows what a dentist is, and everybody knows what a toothbrush is, and everybody knows that toothaches and cavities and they hurt, right? And then getting them fixed hurts and costs money. Yet people still don't do it. And it's like, okay, if it were 1960, I get it, because, like my dentist as a kid was in the basement and the guy didn't believe in Novocaine. So, it's a true story. If I'm going to try to track him down, might not be alive, but I didn't want to go, right? It was a fear thing. I didn't want to go, but I was motivated to take care of my oral health. And there's still so much work to do. And I love that there are so many people that are, motivated by it and passionate about it.
And let's stop having people motivated by pain. The issue with tooth pain is it happens when it wants to happen, not when you want it to happen. I used to tell my patients all the time, they're like, hey, when should I get this fixed by? I'm like, do it on your schedule. Do it when it's convenient for you, sooner rather than later, because I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you on, April 23rd at 4:30, it's going to start hurting.
Right.
So
agreed.
But most people don't know that. Like it doesn't hurt. I must be okay.
Yeah.
And we have to change that.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I'll say something that I know you guys are going to agree with, which is that hygiene kind of leads the way on that, right? And it's what's beautiful is over the last I'm going to say this wrong, but you'll know what I mean, is like the last 10 years, hygiene has just become, like, when I say hygiene, I mean the hygiene department and the hygienists have been empowered, and they're now they're key opinion leaders, they're influencers, they're speaking, they're using their voice and their platform. And it's not only helping the industry, I think it's helping the consumer side of it too, because it's raising awareness there. And I don't think anyone ever talks about that, but I think it's really, really important.
And it's helping the dentist. If you can train your hygienists how to communicate with your patients, because quite honestly, most dentists are terrible at it. They suck.
Agreed.
So train your hygienists or hire hygienists that talk to your patients, explain it, take intraoral photos, have an intraoral scanner, use technology, AI, right? Show the patient in black, white, red, yellow, green, what's good, what's not good. Right. That way, when you go in, you don't even have to say anything. The patients are like, hey, doc, when can I get this fixed?
Right.
And I've never, too many doctors view their hygienist getting up to do a hygiene check as like a pain in the butt during their day. It's an opportunity. And we hate to talk about money, but look, dentistry is a great profession because we do well by doing good. Right?
Yep.
Or if you're ethical, which obviously 99.99999% of dentists are, you're fixing disease, you're helping people out. Don't feel guilty about it, especially now we've got insurance and membership plans and third party. Like, let people decide what needs to be, what they want to do. Give them the options. Best, medium, kind of shitty, but hey, we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
And it's their choice.
Yep.
But give them the options. Get them in. Another thing, emergencies, right? Most dentists hate having emergencies. Ruins your day. Why? Those emergencies are root canals or extractions or implants, right? It's a big deal.
But they're also
you get a
way to
patient
help
out of
somebody.
pain, they will love you the rest of their lives.
Right. It's a way to really help somebody in need, which is partly
but
the
you
reason.
Can't put that into your practice management software, and your front desk person may get really annoyed.
Right.
Well, let's get rid of front desk people. Look, there's technology, there's software, there's AI, there's so many things now to create just an efficient, smooth practice. That and one of the things that I would say, if I could change anything about dentistry.
Well, that was the next question. Perfect segue. There you go.
Segue. Here's your magic popsicle stick. I don't have a magic wand.
Okay.
Finish that sentence.
Where is that?
One thing you can change about dentistry, what is it?
Make dentists embrace change.
Yeah.
Dentistry, it's the one, and it's the weirdest thing in the world. You could graduate 50 years ago plugging amalgams and pulling teeth, and if you were doing the same thing today, you're practicing within the standard of care.
Yeah.
Change, learn, bonding. I'm going back to the 80s, but there's so many new changes, and open yourself up to change. Read, continuing education, not just, the tear out journals, right? There's so many opportunities to learn hands-on things. Dentists get burned out because they're doing the same thing day in, day out. Yeah. And it is stressful. We're dealing in tenths of millimeters. Most people can't even measure that.
Yeah, part of it is making change, getting out of your own way. But another is getting out of your practice and go to events. Go to a seminar that you've been thinking about, or find your best friend from dental school find out what they're doing and tag along and do it, because we've all done it. We've been like, we're not sure, but then
I'd even go one step further. Go outside of dentistry. Some of the best books and things I've read, like Sam Walton's book. When he was starting Walmart, he used to drive around and figure out, hey, let's put a Walmart here. When I was growing my initial group, I would drop my kids off at Sunday school, and I'd go drive around for 2 hours and look for great locations for dental practices. Yeah. Phil Knight, an amazing book with how he built Nike and went overseas. And here's one that's way out there. One of my favorite movies, American Gangster.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
It's how Frank Lucas changed the whole heroin industry by going direct to the Golden Triangle, importing it. And look, if you're constantly looking for a better, faster, I say cheaper, right? But just better way of doing things, your patients will appreciate it. Your life will be more exciting because it's not stale every day. Like, I'm 53 years old. My kids are out of the house. And if I didn't change what I was doing, it'd be like Groundhog Day every day. Yeah. Right. But, having podcasts and meeting with different people and doing different things, like, we're not on this earth that long. Make it fun and exciting.
All right. Well, you overachieved today, Scott. I mean, you went beyond.
I told you he'd kill it.
I know you did. You did.
We're going to strip in information on how to get to Scott if one of our audience wants to reach out and contact him. Scott, thank you for being a part of 10 Dent's initial podcasts. Yes. I couldn't think of anyone I wanted more early. Your enthusiasm is infectious. Your mentorship is highly valued. And we'll make sure to let people know where they can see you speak. You're a very prolific speaker, author, and I can't thank you enough. Thanks for making 10 Dent different and showcasing the people that we love and respect.
Thanks for making 10 Dent 19 Dent.
I was going to say, after you start, I was going to say, well, it's more like 20 Dent, but no.
Really?
No, thank you guys. Yeah. I really am excited to, it's one of those things, right, where I can listen to this on the car ride. Yep. As you get more and more people in here, it's going to be a blast.
Yep.
So I wish you luck on everything.
Well, we appreciate it. And we'll have you back. I do think your topic of the medical dental integration you'd be a great sort of resource on that. And I think that would be really,
and other specialties.
Yeah.
Veterinary, dental, ophthalmology, chiropractic, same church, different pew. Let's talk about it next time.
Hallelujah. All right. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, everybody. Like, subscribe,
Thank you both.
Share. 10 Dent Micro Podcast.
20
More
Dent.
great
Let's go.
content coming soon.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Bye.
Thank you.